Hello and welcome to a fresh new episode of Science Monitor, our weekly update on all that is happening in the field of science and technology in and around the country. But before we step into all the details, let's take a look at the headlines first. Water and air proofing. Researchers develop new packing material. DBT's novel venture will clean Barapulla drain to reclaim clean water. Reading closed books made possible. MIT develops new algorithm. And in our In Focus segment today, we'll discuss about chikungunya and how to prevent it. And now news in detail. From electronics to household items, the major concern while packing is waterproofing. While the reason why plastic is largely used a packaging material, but despite all the care and efforts, moisture often finds its way in and spoils the packaged items. But now researchers at ISC Bangalore have come up with a novel packaging material which locks out moisture completely. The packaging material made of infused graphene has performed well in laboratory tests as well.
From raincoats to waterproof wrappings for electronics and food items, plastic packaging is a hot favorite among all of us. While plastic packaging may seem impenetrable to water, the tiny little water molecules can still wriggle their way through, suggest studies. Such moisture can spoil and limit the lifespan of many moisture-sensitive products, including electronics and medicines. Now, as a new viable alternative to plastic packaging, a team of researchers have come up with a special graphene-infused packaging. The new graphene-infused packaging has been developed by a team led by Professor Praveen C. Ramamurthy from the Centre of Nanoscience and Engineering at Indian Institute of Science, Bangalore. The new packaging reduces by a millionfold how much water can get in. In order to develop this highly water-resistant packaging, researchers synthesized a single layer of graphene by chemical vapor deposition and using a simple and scalable process, transferred the graphene to a polymer film. When tested, the graphene packaging proved that water vapor permeates this material at the target rate of less than 10 to the power minus 6 grams per square meter per day.
When we do this type of materials, like for example for both whether it's an interactive scavenging type of functional groups in a material or a solid shield like graphene embedded polymer sheets, we have observed water vapor transmission rate decreased by millionfold. That is, it went down from 10 to the power minus 1 to 10 to the power minus 6 and above. So this material can be used for food, electronics and pharmaceutical applications.
An accelerated aging test also showed that an organic photovoltaic device wrapped in the graphene-infused film would have a lifetime of more than 1 year compared to less than 30 minutes if packaged in the polymer without the graphene. These large area, transparent graphene-embedded polymers, popular as GEPs, are likely to offer a more flexible and resistant alternate to currently used plastic packaging. The results of the study have been published in the American Chemical Society Nano Journal.
Lack of safe and clean water is a major challenge worldwide. In the absence of proper purification technologies, tons of water is wasted every year. Now, in a major initiative towards wastewater management and promoting productive, safe reuse of water, DBT will collaborate with the DDA and Netherlands Organization for Scientific Research and Technology Foundation to reclaim water from the Barapulla drain in Delhi. The project will install a new plant and come up with novel local solutions to clean water.
Water scarcity and unclean water are two of the major issues that prevails in the country and affects many lives. While many tons of water are wasted every year, effective management of wastewater can lighten the burden. Now, in a new initiative towards wastewater management and promote productive, safe reuse of water, the Department of Biotechnology has identified Barapulla drain in Delhi for the demonstration of novel wastewater management technologies. The demonstration project, called the Treatment of Urban Sewage Streams for Healthy Reuse, or in short, LOTUS, will involve the installation of a new plant for cleaning wastewater. The project is a collaborative venture between Department of Biotechnology, Delhi Development Authority and Netherlands Organization for Scientific Research and Technology Foundation.
एक सूएज ट्रीटमेंट प्लांट यहाँ खड़ा कर रहे हैं रिसर्चर्स के साथ, ताकि इस हालत के लिए कौन सी बहुत बढ़िया प्लांट है वो हम तय कर सकें। उसके बाद इसको कई और जगह लगाएंगे, स्केल करेंगे। एक बड़ा प्लांट के बजाय बहुत छोटे छोटे प्लांट लगाएंगे और इससे नदी को साफ़ करने के लिए उम्मीद है हम, क्योंकि इसमें काफ़ी बायोटेक्नोलॉजी आती है, किस तरह की अंदर आती है, कितनी बैक्टीरिया है और डिजीज़ है, और बाहर जब आती है कैसे साफ़ होती है। तो ये कोलैबोरेशन है एनवायरमेंटल इंजीनियरिंग और बायोटेक्नोलॉजी।
The project was officially kick-started in Delhi in an event at Delhi on 8th September. The 2 days workshop saw the participation of scientists from India and Netherlands who finalized the detailed plan of the project.
This project is aimed to develop innovative technologies for the treatment of sewage water. And the technology that once will be developed will be put to practice by setting up a decentralized STPs all along the Barapulla drain. The outcome of this project would be an innovative technology which is available indigenously, less expensive, easy to operate, and produce a valuable byproducts. And this is the first of its kind.
During the program, a demonstration plant will be designed and operated along the Barapulla drain with the support of the Dutch and the Indian consortium. In order to implement the program, DBT and DDA will provide experimental testing sites along the Barapulla drain, where testing labs and the demonstration pilot plant can be established. The data from the pilot plant shall focus on finding the cost-effective local solutions and adapt Dutch technology to Indian conditions. The technologies will be further developed to generate safe water for reuse, as well as nutrients for agriculture use and energy. Both Netherlands and India have committed about 14,70,000 euros each towards the project.
We all have read books, but how about reading a closed book? Yes, reading closed books has now become possible with a new algorithm developed by researchers of MIT Media Lab. How can one read a closed book? Well, let us see in this report.
Earlier, manual typing was the only method to replicate a piece of writing. The advent of Xerox machines, followed by scanners, have made the task considerably easy. But we haven't stopped with that. Here is a new technology that will help us read through closed books. The new algorithm has been developed by a team of researchers, including scientists of Indian origin from the MIT Media Lab and Georgia Tech. The algorithm overcomes the issues of spatial resolution, spectral contrast, and occlusion in current imaging technologies, and can identify letters printed on first 9 pages of a stack of paper. While the first algorithm developed by MIT researchers acquire images from individual sheets in stacks of paper, the algorithm by Georgia Tech researchers interprets the distorted or incomplete images as individual letters.
One of the applications is studying or doing inspection on antique documents. It's like an ancient book or whatever, and you cannot even touch it to open it and see what's inside. You can get some information about the layers with X-ray, but you cannot get information about the content, like what is written in this book.
The algorithm is based on the use of special terahertz radiation, which is a band of electromagnetic radiation between microwaves and infrared light and can penetrate through stacks of paper. The camera in the setup emits ultra-short bursts of radiation, which travels through the stacks of paper and passes through the 20 micrometers air pockets in between the pages of the book. Based on the difference of the degree of absorbance of terahertz radiation and the degree to which light is bent, the algorithm distinguishes between ink and paper. The absorbed or reflected radiations are detected by special sensors to decipher the writings. The technique, which is relatively young and is being improved upon by the researchers, will help analyze antique books and materials organized in thin layers, such as coatings on machine parts or pharmaceuticals. The study has been published in the journal Nature Communications.
And now it is time to take a very short break. We'll be back with more science news. Keep watching Science Monitor. Welcome back. After the break, you're watching Science Monitor. Let us now have a look at some important science and technology activities happening in India and abroad in our next segment, Science Express.
In order to boost research-oriented infrastructure at premier institutions, the government will soon set up a higher education financing agency. This was recently declared by Education Minister Shri Prakash Javadekar.
Today, Cabinet decided to give a very important education infrastructure push for more research and innovation in higher learning centers like IITs, IIMs and NITs. So we will have a very good formula where only best institutes, better institutes who can work as mentor will be assisted to create their own infrastructure also and mentoring facility also, and 100 institutes of these backward states will be financed.
According to the decision, the funds will be directly transferred to beneficiary institutes' account, and the government has allocated a fund of nearly 200 billion rupees to build research-oriented infrastructure in a bid to boost research and innovation. The government has also decided to fund 100 institutions in low-income states to raise standards of technical education, which in turn would mentor 100 state-run institutions. According to recent NASA reports, August 2016 is the hottest month on record. Data suggests that August 2016 has broken all previous records and is the warmest month in 136 years of modern record keeping since 1880. according to a monthly analysis of global temperatures by scientists at NASA's Goddard Institute for Space Studies. Last month's temperature was 0.16 degrees Celsius warmer than the previous warmest August in 2014. The monthly analysis is performed on publicly available data acquired by about 6,300 meteorological stations around the world, ship and buoy-based instruments measuring sea surface temperature, and Antarctic research stations. Space probe Curiosity, currently exploring the Murray Buttes region of Lower Mount Sharp in Mars, has stumbled upon some spectacular rock formation. The space probe is drilling through the rock samples to collect data which will help study the buttes up close to give better understanding of the ancient sand dunes that has undergone many physical and chemical changes to form the rocky structures of the present Mars. The mission team plans to assemble several large color mosaics from the images taken at this location in the near future. In another celestial discovery, researchers have discovered what could possibly be one of the biggest meteors of the world. The meteor, weighing 30,800 kg, has been discovered from Campo del Cielo in Argentina, which is one of the most famous meteorite crash sites in Argentina. While researchers claim that the meteor is the second biggest meteor of the globe, we have to wait until further tests confirm the claim.
Fever, joint pain, nausea, these are some of the typical symptoms of chikungunya, which has assumed an epidemic proportion today. But the infection, which starts with a fever, has now started claiming lives as well. Chikungunya is spread by Aedes aegypti mosquito. It is often tough to differentiate between dengue and chikungunya, but with very easy steps, we can control this epidemic. Well, this will be the topic of our discussion in our next segment, In Focus.
As mosquitoes find new breeding grounds this monsoon. With 1,057 cases of chikungunya reported in the capital alone, chikungunya is a spreading panic in the country presently. Chikungunya is a viral illness spread by bite of infected mosquitoes and clinically resembles to dengue fever. It was first described in 1952 during an outbreak in southern Tanzania. In fact, the name chikungunya is derived from a word in the Kimakonde language and means to become contorted. Typical symptoms of the disease are sudden onset fever, severe headache, chills, nausea, vomiting, and severe joint pains. Most of the patients recover fully, but in some cases, the joint pains may persist for weeks or months.
There is no need to get panic. और हमको जो केसेस रिपोर्ट हो रहे हैं उसमें चिकनगुनिया में तो विशेष करके सिम्टोमैटिक ट्रीटमेंट देना है. तो सिम्टोमैटिक ट्रीटमेंट के दृष्टि से पेन जो डॉक्टर्स एडवाइस करते हैं उसके लिए जो दवाई डॉक्टर्स एडवाइस करते हैं वो लेना है और ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा लिक्विड्स कंज्यूम करना है.
The infection is caused by the chikungunya virus, which is spread by two species of mosquito, Aedes aegypti and Aedes albopictus. Mosquito usually transmits the disease by biting an infected person and then biting someone else. That means an infected person cannot spread the infection directly to other persons. Aedes aegypti mosquitoes bite during the daytime and they breed in anything that holds water. The incubation period of the Chikungunya virus ranges from 1 to 12 days. Once bitten by an infected mosquito, onset of illness occurs usually between 4 and 8 days. But despite recent outbreaks, the complete cycle of the disease still remains a mystery. Now, what is most interesting is that Chikungunya, dengue and Zika all are spread by mosquitoes belonging to the same class. Hence, sudden onset of fever and rashes can be due to any of the three infections. Under such conditions, it becomes important to avoid self-medication and go for a thorough medical diagnosis to confirm the infection. Chikungunya can be diagnosed using serological tests which detects the presence of antibodies in the blood. Though large number of efforts are going on, there is no specific cure or vaccine for the disease, and the treatment is mainly focused on relieving the symptoms. But once infected, a person is likely to be protected from future infections. Newborns infected around the time of birth, adults and people with medical conditions such as high blood pressure, diabetes or heart disease are at high risk, as the infection may cause eye, neurological and heart complications. Chikungunya can be managed following few simple tips, which include getting plenty of rest, drinking fluids to prevent dehydration, wear full sleeves of full-length clothes and use mosquito nets. Aspirin and other non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs are to be strictly avoided. Prevent the breeding of mosquitoes by draining out water from various containers. Isolate the patient to prevent mosquito bites and stop the virus from spreading. And most important of all, medications are to be taken only on strict supervision of medical practitioner. Chikungunya can be easily prevented. Let us all work towards a healthier, happier world.
Well, that is all for this episode of Science Monitor. Do tell us how do you like our program. You can send your feedback and suggestions. Our email ID is news@vigyanprasar.gov.in. You can also write into us at Vigyan Prasar C24, Kutub Institutional Area, New Delhi 110016. Well, that is all for today, but we'll be back with fresh news stories on science and technology again next week. Till then, keep watching Rajya Sabha TV and think scientific all the time. Thanks for watching.